Hey, what is going on, team? Absolutely show back in the saddle. Thank you for being here. Yeah, baby, we're back. You better believe I got my glasses on this week after seeing what I looked like without them on last week. Boy, the first glassless episode was tough, man. I don't know what I was doing that weekend, if I didn't sleep or if I just slept on a pillow made of glass, but the boy was puffy and the eyes were baggy. So we're back with the glasses, baby. Locked and loaded, feeling grand. If you're listening to this, if for whatever reason, maybe you're really, really locked in, maybe you're driving to work, maybe you're driving from work, middle of a workout, get it up. Wherever you're listening to this, if you do hear some construction in the background, that's just don't hate the player, hate the game, man. We're here in the studio, and across the street is a Dunkin' Donuts being built, which, I mean, they are in full construction mode. And when I drove up and I saw it, Aiden was texting me. Podcast dad Aiden was talking to me via text, talking about this construction, saying, hey, I think he's been up here putting in the work, son, getting the levels right, so you maybe can't hear the construction. But he was hitting me up and, saying it might be a problem. And then I rolled up and I looked at it because there's been a sign that said Dunkin' Donuts coming soon that somebody made the O into a U, so that's hilarious. If you're across the street from a comedy club, I don't know what you were expecting, but that Dunkin' Donuts has been edging over there for quite some time, and they're actually breaking ground on it. And it dawned on me, I've never seen a Dunkin' Donuts being built. I've always just seen a Dunkin' Donuts that's been there, or I've seen a Dunkin' Donuts like move into a strip mall that was already built, but I've never seen, this is just a standalone Dunkin' Donuts house. Like, it's hilarious. It's made of wood, like, you never really think that a Dunkin' Donuts is just like framed up like a dang two-bedroom house. It looks like they could be building a house right now, but they're building a Dunkin' Donuts. A double-decker, dude. Yeah, dude, they're building a double-decker over there. Never seen one being built, man. That's funny. Dunkin' Donuts. I guess if it's going to be right across the street from the club, Daddy's going to be drinking a lot of Dunkin'. I don't know. I don't have like a huge coffee loyalty thing, man. I don't know. It's kind of whatever's available. I try to just get, as long as it's least sugary as possible. That's not my thing. I know that Dunkin' and Starbucks are, I guess, the two big two. I want who would win in a fight, Dunkin' people or Starbucks people? Because Starbucks has sheer numbers, but if you walk into your average Starbucks, you can pretty much beat up every single person in there. I mean, can we agree that Starbucks, like most Starbucks goers, aren't gonna put up much of a fight? Dunkin' Donuts, I know it's big in Boston. That's a pretty fighty city. Boston might be carrying the load for the Dunkin' versus Starbucks fan base fight. I don't know. I mean, it's just sheer level. And we're not talking worldwide. We're talking in America. I don't know. I was just up in Seattle, and the people in Seattle, because that's where Starbucks was founded, the people in Seattle who could win a fight don't go to Starbucks because they live outside. It's a whole different ball game. I don't know. Dunkin' versus Starbucks fight. Gonna have to give it to Dunkin', I would imagine. Dunkin' just seems like a little. I think that Dunkin' Donuts coffee, more cigarettes get smoked with that than Starbucks coffee. I think that that's fair enough. And if we're talking fights, you got to bring in cigarette use, man. Because if someone's willing to, smoke cigs, that's fighting themselves. They're fighting themselves every day, fighting their own lungs. So probably a decent fighter, man. But they're over there across the street building a Dunkin', construction, building stuff. They've been building stuff forever. It's kind of their whole jam, they being mankind and womankind. I don't know. There's a bridge in Cincinnati, the Roebling Bridge. Beautiful. Gorgeous bridge. Suspension bridge. It's blue. It's very pretty. It's one of the prettiest things about the city. It's huge. And like two of the big bases or whatever are just in the Ohio River. really hard to do. They built it in 1865. They finished it in 1865. The audacity of man. What were we thinking back then? It was the middle of the Civil War, and they were like, hey, you want to try to do something that's like almost impossible? How did they do it? I've looked up videos, and I'm like, yeah, sure, man. I guess that's how they did it. Just crazy dudes down there in like, not really scuba gear, bells, they called them. Just down there in bells, man. That's sketchy to do today. To go down there like whatever. You get the air bubble in your head and you go down there. Man, they did that. Barely electricity, dude. Cincinnati was barely hooked up electricity. They built a dang bridge, man. It's crazy that they did that. And then the guy who did that, John Roebling, he went on to build the Brooklyn Bridge. He finished the Roebling Bridge during the Civil War, which again, so crazy. Like no cranes. If you have any hammers, then you got the hammers made by a guy that you know. You didn't go to Lowe's. You didn't you didn't go to Home Depot, man. You went to the hammer maker who somehow knew how to make a hammer. They could just get metal from the ground, which, again, this is so beyond me, man. How did they do that? They built it. Steel came down from Pittsburgh. Shout out the Steel City, the Steelers. It's wild. What was I talking about just now? Roebling. Oh, yeah. And then, so he built the Roebling Bridge in Cincinnati as a prototype, and he went up and built the Brooklyn Bridge. And it's like just basically a huge, gigantic Roebling Bridge. And I wish I knew the whole story, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those cases where he like low-key kind of, got a spy. Had a little bug. I think he kind of lost his mind, or he got really sick or something, and then his wife kind of low-key handled the rest of it. Lady Roebling. Classic guy. Classic man move. Can't remember her name. I know John's name. Oh, Aiden on the ones and twos back there looking it up, dude. Yeah, I don't know what happened to John Roebling, if he like lost his mind or if he got actually sick. Because back then, if you could like twist your ankle. Johanna Hurdy. Well, man, maybe better that I didn't learn her name. What an insane name. Johanna Hurdy. Johanna Hurdy. Roebling. But back then, dude, you could like twist your ankle. And if you twisted your ankle, you could just die. Oh. Okay, let's go with Emily, man. Let's go with Emily. Yeah, Johanna Hurdy. Yeah, let's go with Emily. Nah, dude, if you twisted your ankle back then, you could just like fully, that's your family. That's a wrap on it, man. Me and my sweet, sweet baby mama were talking about that because she is still pregnant, praise God, and God love her heart, having a hard time, not going well, and we were riffing the other day thinking about like, dude, imagine being pregnant in 1745. Again, how was anyone ever born ever, dude? Without the creature comforts we've got like heat, AC, hot water, cold water, not to brag. We got all the stuff. Roof, carpet. It's nice. And she's still just kind of barely scraping by. So shout out to all the ladies that managed to do that back in the day, dude. Oh, man, we're letting it rip. If you can tell from the attire, fresh off the course. Fresh off the course, man, with fellow Nashville podcaster Matt Taylor of the critically acclaimed Rampin' Up podcast with Fiona Colley. Ever heard of her? That's right. I golf with her fiance. We've golfed pretty good out there, man. We were out there just two aggressively bald men. God, two guys have never been so bald at the same time. Just, God, you know one thing about bald guys? Hats. God, we are some hat-wearing sons of bitches, dude. God, a bald guy loves a hat so much, man. And you kind of have to have it, dude. If you're golfing without a hat, like this is spring golf, right? I can get away with it. When it's hot outside, I got to go out there in a sombrero, bro. I have to be wearing SPF hat. I can't play around with it, man. There is a lot of surface area up there to burn, and Papa, it does. God, it burns. I was down in I was down Texas way. I was down, speaking of getting burned. God, man, I bet you could get really burned down there. We were down there randomly rainy. It was rain season in Texas, which I didn't even know if they really had it. But yeah, I went down there on the old rat train. On the old rat train down to Texas way, and it was pretty sick, man. Got a little bit of everything. I'm wearing a Spurs hat. Thank you to the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama. Appreciate the warm welcome. I didn't meet him, but I did meet Vicky, who runs the merch and like the arena. So she was great and gave me a hat. That was awesome. That was a cool show. That was very big. So we did everything from like where the freaking San Antonio Spurs have, won world championships. My dressing room was like the away team locker room, and it's not like, it's very cool, but it looked a lot like this. Like I can't sit in Victor Wembanyama's locker or whoever would be there. But I was geeking out on that because it was the away team locker room. Think about who's been in there, dude. Like Shaquille O'Neal had been naked in that room, and you could feel it. You could feel it, man. You think that guy naked doesn't leave an impression on a room? It's like haunted. That room is kind of haunted by you gotta assume the biggest penises on earth. Per capita, NBA locker room, man. I'm sorry. That's probably gotta be the biggest wienered room that you could be in, is an NBA locker room, away team at that. God, so I really felt that, man. I really felt the presence. I really felt the presence of all those just way too big penises. I did get a riff. I was riffing with one of the guys who worked at the arena, and we were talking about that. He was getting a kick out of that, and I go, "You think Shaq's penis ever missed a game with a torn ACL?" And it got a real good. It got a good one. Got a good one out of Aiden right now, and it got a good one out of what was his name? Jerry down there in San Antonio way. So that was great, man. The San Antonio show, very cool. The super nice facilities. That was brilliant. And then on the other end of the spectrum, and I'm not hating on them, I'm not kidding, probably the best show that we've done on the tour, seriously, Belton, Texas. Who knows the last time there was a comedy show in that venue, if there ever has been, man. It's normally at a cattle auction or a rodeo, and it was a trip, bro. It was a really fun show, man. All the security guards at the Belton show had guns straight up. And I don't know if I've talked about this before, but and God love them, man. The security in back of house at arenas, it's almost exclusively north of 75, 95 years old. It's people's retired jobs, it's people's second jobs, it's people's fun little gig, man. And I love meeting them, but they're all old people, and it was just funny to see. Like grandmas walking around with like a pocket full of Werthers and also a 9mm on their hip, like doing security at a comedy show. Like, it's so funny for someone to tell you to stop texting during a comedy show when they have a gun. Like, the more I think about it, dude, give every door guy at every comedy club in America just a gun. For real, dude. I'm not some gun nut, man, but I saw what it did for a show. Hey, I'm talking like 7,000 people from Belton, Texas, who were drunker than hell, lined up. It was the best show we've ever done. It was so fun, man. And I think it's because there were guns, dude, because who wants to get shot in the head for videotaping a comedy show? And I don't, of course I'm kidding. That wouldn't happen. That's why it is. I don't know. Not to get into a big gun conversation here, but it was nice being down there where, if anything did pop off, which ironically would be with a gun, right? I know that's like the classic back and forth, but down in Texas, I promise you, more good guys with guns than bad guys. Promise you that. Because if there were a bunch of bad guys with guns in Texas right now, we'd hear about it like every day, because there are guns everywhere. There are guns mother flipping everywhere down there in Texas, and I was into it, man. That show in Belton was had porta potties were the form of bathroom, dude. Indoor porta potties. That's a special thing, man. Indoor porta potties. It's the only thing more hillbilly than an outdoor couch. Indoor porta potty, outdoor couch, maybe like on par, dude. But that was a beautiful thing to see, man. An indoor porta potty, and I brought it up on stage, and everyone was just like, "Yes, that's cool. We're proud of that." And you should have been, man. Just because I don't know, it's a hell of a move. Porta potties. There's a lot of shame involved in the use of a porta john, man. Everyone knows it. They're tough, dude. They got to be outside. To walk out of a porta potty door and still be inside is a crushing move. No one should have to experience that. You walk out of a porta potty, everyone knows the move. You walk out, you divert eye contact, you rub your hands together like you washed your hands, even though you didn't, because there's nothing to wash your hands with. You avoid eye contact, you speed walk away from the scene of the crime. Because even if you just went number one in there, guess what? It's a crime. They're so bad. I don't know how the tech could get any better or worse, but hide it. I don't know. You've got to be able to improve upon it. You've got to be able to make a porta potty out of a plastic that doesn't get hot. At the very least, porta potty technology, can it not be 150 degrees while I hover above like literally a mountain of other people's poop? It's horrific. And to have one inside where you walk out and then you're just in front of a couple thousand people, man. And people got caught making out in there, dude. It was a bar fight. It was so fun, dude. Yeah. Yeah, dude. If you hook up in a porta potty, I tell you what, that's not your wife. That's not your wife. It might be someone's wife. It's not yours. Porta potty, dude. Everyone knows what the Mile High Club, dude. The porta potty, he called that the Rock Bottom Club. Call that the Mile Low Club. Call that as bad as it can get. Porta potties. I've been on them in a lot of different ways. A lot of different scenarios. I've been out on the golf course on a porta potty. I've been, all the festivals, concerts, you name it. Oh, dude, we were talking about construction at the front of the show. I always forget about this era of my life, but while I was doing comedy, I had a construction job. I worked construction for like 6 months. Shout out my boy Brandon, dude. There's a bar directly next door to Go Bananas Comedy Club up in Cincinnati, my home away from home, and I helped like rehab it. They were flipping it and giving it a good renovation. And I helped him mostly just like hauling shit away and with demo, and then I would like hold stuff, and I have rudimentary skills. I have a rudimentary set of skills. And the guy who was renovating it had a company, and he brought me on, man. He brought me on, and it was so crazy. I was fully doing comedy, and then I would get up 4 days a week at like 7 a.m. and go to a different house and just help out with things. I'd sweep, or I'd help frame up, or whatever really needed to be done. One of the most embarrassing moments of my life came from that job. That was, I haven't thought about this in a long time. That sucked. Now, I got to tell you, I guess it's not that bad, but just as a man, it's one of those things that as a man, like, you'll wear kind of for the rest of your life. We were at this guy's house, helping build him a garage. So like next to his house, a whole separate garage. It was like a pretty big thing. I showed up, it was pretty mostly framed in. And then for the day, what I was doing was putting up the plywood, like on the side of the framed up place, cutting out the windows and tacking up like the Tyvek wrap or whatever around it. And I put up the plywood and cut the first window out, and it was good, and it was nice because I was working with me and one other guy who was like over there doing his own thing. So I was kind of just doing my own thing, staying in my lane. Boss wasn't there. Then boss shows up. And the guy whose house we are, or whose garage we're building, he walks out because the boss is there. So now I'm like working in front of people, and the guy who's paying us for it, dude, I cut out one window fine, and then I'm cutting out another window from the plywood while they're watching. maybe the worst cut anyone's ever done in their entire. It looked like a great white shark took a bite out of the plywood. I'm talking the sawzall was all bent, and I just was so nervous, and it was a zigzag line all the way down, and like kind of messed it up. Like it was I got chewed out. I didn't have the job much longer after that. But shout out Brandon, man. He paid me pretty well. It was all cash. It's cool. We do the thing. Like, yeah, allegedly. Allegedly it was all cash. You'll never know the name of his business, but I think he's still doing good. Kind of guy with a huge beard. You know who I'm talking about. Gigantic beard, my haircut. You know that guy. He was a good dude. It was fun, man. Go to what was the place called? Not Hooters. It was like Hooters adjacent. Not Twin Peaks. It wasn't like a sexual innuendo name, but you went there and you were like, I know what this is. Oh, Frickers. It was called Frickers in Cincinnati. We'd go to Frickers and just have a couple beers at lunch, full construction worker stuff, man. It was great. It's back in the days before I vaped. I was ripping cigs. God, just playing a character, really, I guess we can all kind of go in and out of different versions of ourselves, and it's fun to lean into a thing, just be like, oh, yeah, that was construction worker Lee era. Construction worker Lee showed up hungover many, many a time. Been those like little silicone rings that guys can wear, the wedding rings, you know what I'm talking about? I bought a couple. I bought a pack, and I've been testing it out, wearing it around. I'm not wearing it today, but I've been testing it out because I kind of had an epiphany that it's weird that guys don't get something at the engagement. Not weird in like a complaining way. I get it. The guy asks, the girl gets the ring. That's the way it goes. That's completely fine. But I think it's funny that when a guy gets married, for most guys, I can speak for myself. For me, I will be getting married, and not only is that super crazy, having a kid and a dang wife, that's crazy. But then also on top of it all, for the first time in my entire life, I'll have to wear a piece of jewelry, and it's just like on one day's notice, My lady gets the engagement ring. She's been wearing it around. She's used to it. She's a girl. She's been wearing jewelry her whole life. I've never worn a ring, ever. And then one day, I'm just going to have to put on a ring and never take it off. That's crazy to do at like 35 years old. Just be like, oh, yeah, I wear a ring now. So I wore the silicone one just to kind of like get used to it, walk around, It's just a different thing. Guys should get a thing. What about an engagement gun? Kind of level the playing field a little bit. That engagement ring kind of feels like a gun sometimes. No, I'm kidding. No, but I've been wearing the little ring around, getting used to it. We're going to have to go down there and shotgun it, baby. I joked around a lot, man, about how difficult planning a wedding was, and hardy har har, wouldn't it be so much easier and just to knock you up and blah, 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 and call this wedding off, and then boom, that's what's happening. That is what's going down. So, yeah, we'll go down to the courthouse and just do that, get a couple witnesses, and probably, if I'm being honest, come up here. Come up here and make her an honest woman, man. Make her an honest woman, because right now we're living in sin. We're living in sin, baby. Out of wedlock. It's so funny to think about, like, I don't know. Not funny, whatever. Have your opinions, but I guess it's a bummer to think about some people get pregnant, and then on top of being so scared about that happening, they also are like terrified to tell their family because they'll think that they're like all gonna go to hell. What a huge bummer, man. I don't see how anybody makes it out of this shit alive, dude. Shout out to you, honestly. Shout out to everyone. You're doing fine. I bet you are. There's some things that we could all improve upon. Lord knows that that's true for me. I've been trying to get up a little bit earlier. I'm not saying that I have been. But dang, I've been trying, man. You know? But if you are, I don't know, if you're doing well enough that like you're legally allowed to have your phone and be listening to this podcast right now, brother, that's fine. Just stay out of prison, man. Don't go to jail. That's all. That's what the name of the game is now. Nobody has money, so don't worry about that. You're not getting rich. That's okay. That's really none of us. And if I do, guess what? Ask me for money. If I get rich because of this podcast, I'm going to have to find a legal loophole to not just give it to all of you guys back. I don't know. That'd be fun. I know you like can't do that, like do a lottery or whatever, but yeah, that would be the goal. I talked about it last week. Money can't buy happiness. Kind of can. It kind of can. Yeah. Giving mom and dad 20 G's, that would make me happy. You know, writing Aiden a check for $10,000 and then setting it in fire in front of him. That would feel good. Not even a check. Getting $10,000 out of the bank and then just set it on fire in front of Aiden and be like, guess what, man? That does nothing to me. Now edit me a clip. That's how I'll be. That's how I'll turn out. Yeah, once I make it, dude, everyone will know. Actually, heel turn. I'll give no one anything. I won't even give it to my kid. He'll have to earn his way, dude. Oh my God, let me get successful and turn into the biggest dickhead who's ever been born. Forget all my friends. No, I could never do that. I don't know, man. We're over here. Dude, I think some of you guys might notice, especially if you're watching over on the YouTube, I do kind of tend to have like a little somewhat of an idea about what I'm going to talk about when I get on there. I mean, if it's one page of bullet points, then if I read through that would take about 90 seconds. So there's no script. I have somewhat of like a landing zone, you know? Not really on this episode, if I'm being honest. We came in, we were kind of ripping and roaring. Aiden was getting a late start because of the motherfucking Dunkin' Donuts guys over there making, doing their old thing. I think he's got to go let a couple more people inside, but if it felt a little disjointed today, then it kind of was. I don't know what to tell you, man. Me and Maddie Light went out there and played a little golf this morning, and that night I came here and I'm clocking in. Doing this one right now, Boy Storm later. I'm trying to think anything fun coming up in the future. Not sure when this one's coming out, but I just picked up Headline Weekend, May 22nd through the 25th, down there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Actually, maybe I'm lying. It might be the soup. No, it's May 29th, 30th, 31st. Co-headline with Zach Townsend down at the Tulsa Looney Bin. Shout out Mason Thatcher. We love you, Daddy. Okay, man, that's it. I'm wrapping it, baby. I'm pulling it. We're pulling the parachute, man. The boy has kept the ball in the air for a half hour yet again. Thank you for tuning in, man. I've been talking to some of my buddies who listen to it, and it's really funny. Like, most people are turning in, and it's like there's some nerves involved. That's why I think I'm gonna keep it solo, man. It's kind of fun, dude. A true challenge. Can we do this? Can I and you as a fan base, can we make this actually take some flight? So maybe. Follow the Instagram. You know the deal. Absolute Lee Show. Hit me on mine, Lee Kimbrell Comedy. If you're listening this far, you probably already do. But tell a friend. Absolute Lee Show. I love you. See you later. Bye.